W says, hi, Dawn. I hope you are dry and safe today. Would love to know where you got your shirt. Turning 42 soon. So we're the same age. We're totally the same age. Journey 50 says, so good to see you again. Isis was okay, and afterwards, let's talk about where I can purchase that shirt. So this shirt came from Amazon, actually. So I might have to link in the description. Only me says, yay, Dawn, you're missed. Baskerville B says, I resume. Divine Rap says, I feel personally attacked by that shirt. Oh my gosh, I love it. When I saw this shirt, I knew I had to have it because I always I joke that I'm perpetually like 8 years old most of the time. So from an 8 years old perspective, like everybody say hi to Nikki. Nikki, the audience wants to see you. Where are you going? Where you going, Nikki? Where you going? Huh? If you're talking to me, I just want you to pet me. Hi, Nikki. How you doing? Okay. He was meowing at me for attention, and he's like, "Why do you have that thing in your hand? Like, I wanted you to come over here, not you." Happy Easter, Sam! Good to see you in the comments. I love all the comments on the shirt. Mel says my mic sounds horrible. My mic is the phone. I just have the iPhone. So for all the people who are like, yay, iPhone, because when I first got this phone, everybody complimented like the camera and the mic. So it's funny to hear somebody say like my mic sounds horrible. Maybe my voice just sounds horrible because this is just the phone. It's whatever's on the iPhone. There's no attached mic, no fancy setup. It's literally just the iPhone. So yeah. So that's iPhone's problem. And I wasn't doing anything extra because I have not had the energy for extra. I'm drinking my tea right now. This is my nighttime, like, chill tea. And the reason why I titled the video what I titled it, because I do feel like I've been failing. I had a goal to at least do one video a week on YouTube, and I have not been able to complete that goal. And it's not that, like, I'm working so many insane hours that it's impossible. It's just, like, when my days off come, you know, like, I like having a day off. And not, like, you know, I have to do my other job. And the problem with YouTube is basically a job where I work for myself. And the good and the bad of that is when you don't feel like working, you just don't work. But then, like, the work doesn't get done. Nobody's going to do it for you. Like, when you have a regular job where you're hired, you have to call out. They find a way, or you plan for a vacation ahead of time. They plan for a way to work to still happen, even though you're not there. And with, like, YouTube being a job, quote unquote, sort of a secondary job. I mean, honestly, like, for a long time, all I had was YouTube, and that's because we were in the middle of the big bad bug, and there was nothing else I could get and nothing else I could really do except for side jobs here and there. So I depended a lot on YouTube, and now I have this job that demands a lot of hours, a lot of brain space, and honestly, a lot of energy. And so when I'm off, there's two things that happen: rest and doing chores. I've had to figure out, I don't have to figure out where to get water anymore because the people who are letting me park in their driveway have also said I have free use of the water hose, and if I want to come in the house, hey, come on in the house and get some fresh water. So I've been given water sources, so I no longer have to track down water, which was a big thing. There's a water at the local Albertsons, and like one of those water dispensers that I used to use a lot, and it was broken for like a week. So I was like, ah! So then I went to the Walmart because they have a water dispenser. And the one time I went there, it was broken, and the woman was like, and if they didn't want people like stealth parking around the city, and so like water dispensers are broken. I don't know. I was developing a conspiracy theory in my mind. So the Walmart lady was like, "Well, the guy's coming in to fix it. They'll be fixed in like an hour." So I was like, "Okay, well, my house is out in the parking lot." I didn't say that out loud, but my house is out in the parking lot. I've driven it to the Walmart to get water. I decided to go out to the parking lot and sit in the vehicle and like watch a video or something. I'm like, okay, I'll just go back in an hour. But basically all I said to her was, oh, okay, I'll be back in an hour then. She was like, I don't know if you want to wait, blah, blah, blah. So I go back into the Walmart in an hour, and the water machine is working, but like the water is trickling out so slow that I almost regretted just not giving up on it that day. And then I found the Fred Meyer that had a water dispenser right in the front doors, and I was like, okay, well, this place is awesome. This is where I'm going to come to next time. And this is when I first got to Ashland. And so I go to the Fred Meyer the second time. Water dispenser is broken, which is only annoying because I like my water setup, but it's kind of a pain in the butt to like open the back, get out my water jugs, put them in a wheel. I either put them in my wagon or I'll get like a shopping cart from the supermarket, and I'll roll all my jugs over to the water dispenser. Now, I try not to have more than 2 empty, but one of the times I talked about, I had like 3 empty. So the fact that if it's either broken or it's like taking forever for the water to come out, especially when you're bloody paying for it. It's not like I'm asking for free water. These are like paid water dispensers, and it was kind of annoying. So I was getting kind of frustrated with the whole water thing. And luckily where I'm parked right now, you know what I think it is actually? It might be somebody says it sounds like I'm in a broken tunnel. I would just say blame the iPhone, but I don't know why it sounds that way. Also, let me open up the chat on a second device so that I can see the chat better. It's easier than scrolling on the same phone to just have it open, the chat open in another device. But anyway, point being resources. Oh shoot! Now you can hear it like my other phone. I don't want you to hear that. I'm getting commercials. So I went through that for a little while with water, but now water's solved because, and it sounds like the fan's on with the Jackery. Let me do something. Yeah. Okay. So I turned off the 120 on the Jackery 1500, so that whirring noise went away. I set myself up. I keep talking. So my other resource that I need is propane. And at first, I was just kind of like looking for it as I was driving. In this area, it's more common to find propane at gas stations. So yeah, I found a really nice little truck stop area in Medford because a lot of the gas stations around Ashland are really small, and so it's kind of annoying to like figure out a way to either position my truck near the propane or park at the gas station not to get gas and just get propane. So there was that. There's been a lot of figuring out sort of what my resources are and where they are since I've gotten to Ashland, and on top of that, starting a new job. We're a few months in now, so things are kind of going. It's going great. Rehearsals are going great. I've even filmed some stuff in here and there, but it just has not coalesced into a video. I cannot film rehearsals. That is not allowed. That is a huge break in the rules and union situations and all kinds of things. So that will never happen. But there's been some miscellaneous stuff I've filmed. And if somebody walks into the room, I'm like, hey, are you okay with being on camera? But that's kind of just sitting in a hard drive right now, and it's not coalesced into a video. And so, like, I've been struggling to find the time to sort of dedicate brain space to the process of taking those things and turning them into a video. And there was a comment. Sorry, it made me stop. What were the words I was looking for? I've just been struggling with, like, actually especially because my schedule is irregular. Um, I've been struggling to try to actually be able to place. Okay, this is the time I'm going to dedicate to like making videos because I have like a long list of video ideas that just have not turned into actual videos yet. I even have footage. I have things filmed, but it's like the process of putting that all together and turning it into something I've been fighting with. And I think after RTR, to be quite honest, I was also a little burnt out on YouTube. In general, it just became a lot at that point. And I know people are like, "Oh, well, you talk to the camera." Well, like I am in my box truck talking to my camera. I don't have to expel energy on other people. And like other people, it's not even about disliking other people. There are tons of people I like. I was around a bunch of people I liked. I was around people whose company I actually adored and loved for several months. But as an introvert, I was very burned out by all of that. And for a while, I was able to keep up some momentum. And like, I think before RTR, I was a solid 3 videos a week. By the end of RTR, I was struggling, or at least by the end of Schoolie Palooza, I was really struggling to do 1 video a week. And then when I added OSF to that, and then it was kind of a mad dash because I spent some more time with people after the end of Schoolie Palooza, but then I ran it so close. I wanted this slow trickle up to Oregon, and instead it became a mad dash to Oregon. And so I mad dashed to Oregon so that I could make sure I was here before it started, with the idea of sort of coalescing my resources and knowing what I was doing, and things have like been a little bit of a roller coaster on the sort of settled in process. And I have been struggling, and it has been bad for the channel. I've lost patrons. I've lost people who had signed up for YouTube memberships, and I do not blame them. I mean, in a way, they're investing in entertainment that they feel like they're not getting, and rather you're like making a really boring video about solar, or showing them exciting travel places, or I don't know, show them how you get your bathroom options for van life. They're signed on for that reason, so I cannot get mad if I am not producing and people leave. But it's been hard to see. I still feel like I'm doing what I need to do. The long-term benefit of this job in this position is going to be very important to me. And so if I'm sort of taking a look of what does my future, because I don't want to lose the YouTube channel. I absolutely love like doing videos. This micro community that has come out of having a YouTube channel, be that, you know, people who I've only talked to online, people I've met at person at events, and everything else. Like that has been a mostly positive journey with some negatives. And I don't think I ever wanted to be quote unquote a YouTuber. I wanted to make YouTube videos, but like a YouTuber comes with producing merch. A YouTuber comes with managing all these other things, which is fine. It can be a beautiful thing, but it can also add to the stress that isn't there when you're just like, I'm just making some videos and throwing them up on this thing, and like 20 people watch them. So I've been in a very complicated place about having a YouTube channel versus, you know, the commitment to being a YouTuber, which I do see as two different things. And it would have been nice if I could have kept up the momentum and like never lost any sort of YouTube momentum in my commitment to this job that I'm doing now. And like everything would have stayed equal, and it just would have been more, you know. But I am in a place where right now I'm negotiating choices. Like it's very important to me how this job turns out at the end. Everybody's hating my audio. Is it really that bad? Is there echo in here? I don't know why the audio is terrible. I don't even know. Where's the microphone on this thing? I'm going to try something, y'all. It's going to look weird for a minute. I'm going to take the case off, and then you can tell me if it makes a difference. Maybe it is. Oops, I'm hitting things. Okay. Woo. Okay. Whoa. Does hello? There is an echo in here though. I don't know what that is. When I talk, I can hear it. I don't know if it sounds any better. Does it sound any better, or does it still sound pretty bad? I took the case off the phone. I love this cup. It says "Choose kindness." Judith, I just saw your comment. I'm about to scroll back through the comments because I've just been running my mouth. But Mickey was actually right at the beginning of the video. Now he's in the bed. I think he's like, Dawn, you're talking to that box again, and I'm annoyed. Let's see if we can get him on. There he is. You see him on the bed? Whoa, okay. Let me point at it. There we go. And you see, I need to redo that because Mickey has torn it up. You see right there? Because that was just construction paper over some foam. And it's so I can pull it out and get to some of the electrical back there. And I need to pull those out and rewrap them. But that's why they're wrapped in construction paper. Because construction paper is an easy fix. All right. Whew. There is an echo in here, but I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know what's causing it. All right, I'm gonna scroll back to the comment thread so I can like talk to people now that I've been running my mouth for a little bit. I'm sorry about the weird sound issues. I thought iPhones were supposed to be better than everything and never ever struggle. All you iPhone people. Let me stop. I'm just joking. There's some sort of weird thing in here because I hear it when I'm talking and I don't know what's causing it. So, yay! All right, I want to scroll to. I'm reading comments, guys. A lot of people commenting on the sound. I don't know what it is. There's something going on with the ambience in here. And I'm right in front of the phone. Now, like, I've had the phone further away from me, and the sound's been fine. So I don't know what's going on with the sound in here tonight. That it feels weird or isn't sounding right. As long as everybody can hear me, I don't have a way to fix it. So, Julianne says, Dawn, have you been there a few months? When did I get here? I don't even know anymore. Let's pull up the calendar here. So let's see. What was my first day? So my first day at OSF officially, I got here in March. So it's been going on 2 months here. Actually, it's only a month and a half because it's what, April 15th. It feels like I've been here longer than that. Because like the first week we were just doing office work, but once we got into rehearsals, it just seemed like we've been in this for a while. But I guess it hasn't been that long. It's been a month and a half-ish that I've been in the Ashland area. So yeah, I was like, how long have I been here? It just feels like I've been here a while at this point. Let me see. Princess Pamela, how you doing? How you doing? I just wanted to Ellen sing to you specially. Justina says, hi, Dawn. Maybe you're pressuring yourself more because you have a regular schedule because it's all what works for you. Just seen it. That's probably partially true. I will say now I think more about what goes in a video than I did when I first started my channel because now I think before I would just film anything and like throw it up on YouTube, and not all of those videos were bad, but some of them really are. I give myself the grace of time. Like I started this channel with a cheap Android, and that was all I had, and that's what I filmed, and I edited on, and I did everything on it pretty much. And I've gone through different versions of how I edit videos, how I film videos, et cetera, et cetera. And now because quote unquote I have to think about. I don't even care about the algorithm, like because there's a lot of stuff I would make that would please quote unquote the algorithm, but I do think about the fact that these videos are going to exist for however long YouTube exists. They're just going to sit on YouTube as references people can come back to. And some of the videos I've been most proud of have been the videos where, like, the video's actually terrible. I went back and looked at it, but the video's actually terrible. But the information in it is super valuable, and that's the one where I did the comparison between building your own DIY solar system and using a power station like the Jackery. And I broke down the differences and I argued for both sides about cost. And to me, that's a very valuable video for someone trying to figure out power in their van. And I'm very proud of those videos. And those videos tend to do horrible. Another video I really liked was I did the video on my satellite messenger device, my Spot. And again, I thought that was a really valuable video because when you hear about safety, everybody wants to talk about like weapons, but safety isn't just about avoiding being quote unquote hurt. Safety is like I'm out hiking on a trail with my dog and I sprained my ankle and I don't have cell coverage and nobody's around. And like so understanding how a satellite communicator can come, or your car breaks down in the middle of nowhere and there's absolutely nobody around and you just need help. Now you're unsafe because you can starve. You might be vulnerable not to people so much, but animals. And so, like, I'm very proud of those videos. And those videos do horrible in the algorithm. But in the long-term life of people looking into this lifestyle, I like that those videos exist. And so, like, I really like to think about what subjects can I bring up that I have some sort of knowledge on that I can share or even talk about or discuss the different points on. And those are more the kind of videos I'm drawn to making myself. So for me, going out and making a video about me getting up in the morning and walking to work for the sake of vlogging is just not something I'm passionate about doing. And so, like, a lot of people think, oh, just film your day and it's easy. And it's not. If you are deciding to film your day, you have to decide what the camera is going to capture. You have to decide to pull out your camera. You have to decide to interact with your camera. You have to make an active choice. There's so many active choices you have to make, even if you're just quote unquote filming your day. And if I can't figure out a value in that video, it's hard for me to be motivated to do it. But yeah, I am so behind in questions. I can kind of see stuff popping up, but it pops up and goes away on this device. So I'm looking on my second device. And I'm going to probably get through this chat slowly. I'm kind of looking for things that are questions so that I can respond to them. Divine Rap says, it's a whole new schedule. As much as I like seeing your videos, I would hate to think of you forcing yourself to film and edit. Editing isn't tons of fun to begin with. Worse when you're not feeling it. I disagree with you, Divine Rap. Editing is super fun to me. Figuring out what to film, because usually by the time I'm editing, I've filmed everything, so I'm just putting it together. It's much harder for me, because what I will do is sometimes I'll just film stuff because I think this will be interesting later, and it's totally happened that I've had something that I never put in a video that I filmed like 2 weeks before I'm working on some idea. But I was like, this is cool, I'm going to film it and hold it. And so I have a lot of filmed it and held it folders that haven't turned into videos yet, but a lot of times I'll find myself going back to those folders to pull it into something that happened in the future I didn't even know was coming, and I'll drop it in there. And that editing process is super fun for me. Like, I love editing. It's much harder for me to, like, make myself think about filming. Because, like, even if people look like they're just filming their day, they're not. Every time you pull out your camera to film yourself, it is an active choice. Because otherwise you just do the thing. But when you have to think about, I want to put this on camera, the second you make that decision, it's a completely moment of choice type of thing. So yeah, I actually love editing. The filming, once I have all the footage and I can just sit down and edit it together, the filming's a little more challenging for me than the editing. It's just having the stuff to edit and knowing what I'm trying to put together and how I'm going to put it together. Sorry guys, I'm a little behind a little bit. Riley says, mad dash to Oregon. Bunny and I kept you a little too long, huh? I had so much fun with you guys. So I will say, even though I'm an introvert, what I love about having friends like Bunny and Riley and Sarah and Chantel and all of those people is they do force me out of my shell in a way I think I need, and it has to be the right kind of people, because there are people who are just like pushy, and I don't like pushy so much as inviting, and people who like have balanced my energy as opposed to like coming at it so hard. So I had so much fun with Bunny and Riley, who were the last two people, and I still have that foot. I'm sure they've done videos about us hanging out that after that. And I have not, and I have footage, it's just never turned into a video. And I have an idea for a video that's specifically about, navigating life as an introvert in van life, and forcing yourself to spend time with friends, and how this can be a positive experience. So I had a blast with them, and I'm so glad. Like, my last time together before I kind of like broke off and made my mad dash for Oregon was with them. I think there was a lot of value in the experience. So yes, you guys held me too long, but I have no regrets. Also, I chose to divert myself to you guys to hang out, so it was great. People are gonna be like, I'm making comments and you're so behind. I know. I'm sorry. FDM, thank you so much. Says, I suspect channels go through the ebb flow periods as other priorities compete for attention. Don't let it get you down. I just see people who like they keep a schedule, and no matter what, I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Julian says, Don, your content does not need to be so entertaining, and it just needs to include you and your surroundings. Just take a walk around town and show us where you are living. That would be enough. Well, that would be one video, first of all. And two, again, it still comes down to that active choice of, I'm not just going for a walk. I am choosing to make a video about a walk. What video equipment do I want to take? Do I just want to take my phone, or do I need something else? And it spirals into all these other choices you have to make that aren't just taking a walk anymore. And for me, and it may just be the way my brain works, let us refer to, can I show you guys this? See this sign? Hold on. I've got to overtake this. And some people are really good at and those decisions still exist, but they're really good at not overthinking it. I am not so good at that. So like a lot of things people present as, you could do this, it's simple. It's still not. Any point where I have to take out a camera and make a choice to turn something into a video, even if it's just what happens, I'm still making a choice. And then I have to make more choices when I put that footage on a computer and I'm deciding what actually goes into the video that's published. Because like me getting out of the truck, dropping my phone, that needs to be edited out probably. Me fiddling to set it up on a tripod so you can get me walking past it, that's got to be figured out. And I've done the thing where I just did talking videos like this, and eventually, because I didn't have a lot of time, I didn't really want to think about it, so I was like, I'm just going to do a sit down and talk video without much planning. And it inevitably, people go, you'll never go anywhere. Never mind, I probably went a bunch of places while not on camera, but people be like, you'll never go anywhere. You just do videos sitting in your front seat. So it's one of those YouTube, and that's the closest you're ever going to get to an unedited video that doesn't take any effort, because there's no motion. You're going to sit down a video like I am right now for a live and talk to the camera. And so if you do those as quote-unquote recorded videos repeatedly, eventually people are going to say, you never do anything. Now, they don't know what you're actually doing. You could have went out and did 20 things that day, but you just didn't, have time to stop and film them, or, slow down your day enough to film them. And so to them, you're not doing anything because all they see is you sitting in the front seat, which you got to kind of get. Like, because they can't judge you by more than what they see, but also they can't logic out you must be doing more than sitting in your front seat. It's the whole thing, and I am an overthinker, which is sometimes a negative, which is very much. Sometimes it's good because I like to examine things from multiple sort of angles, and sometimes it's very 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 bad. Oh my goodness, I am terrible. Just seen it. Thank you for the $3 super chat. I need some propane because I've been using my heater a lot. It decided to snow. I'm like, why is it snowing? It's supposed to be spring. Aren't we going into like spring? Oh, and so they were supposed to paint the stage for our show, and yeah, that's not going to happen because it's an outdoor theater. Well, it's not. It's like the actual stage is outdoors. It's I don't know how many people have heard of the Globe, but it's like Shakespeare's Globe Theater. It's called the Elizabethan. It's one of 3 or 4 theaters I know it's have. But anyway, so there's like a wall that you have to go through, but the actual stage is exposed. So when you want to do things like paint the stage floor and it rains, you kind of can't do it. So that's kind of not happening. We're rehearsing indoors right now, but our show will ultimately be outdoors. Outdoors, sort of. Boo, 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 boo. I saw that. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side. Where was that? R. Nelson, thank you, says you're working full time and really staying in one spot. I don't know why anyone would think you would be filming like normal. That's not possible. um, where are we going? Oh yeah, I just saw somebody say Happy Easter, so I'm gonna. Sorry, I'm quiet because I know I'm way behind in the comments, so I'm trying to read. But somebody said Happy Easter, so Happy Easter to everybody. um. Pat Redden says, "What state are you in right now?" Yes, I'm working for Oregon Shakespeare Festival. So that tells you what state I'm in. I mean, there's a lot of cities in that state, but since I've said I'm at Oregon Shakespeare Festival, you can guess what state I'm in. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Julie says, Dawn, are you still watching Chrome's channel? What do you think about Chrome and Emmy being together? I watch Chrome's videos sometimes. That man posts way too much, and I love him to death. And I think he's an incredible video editor, producer, YouTuber. I think he's good. He's just good. Like he was literally built for this, in a truly exceptional way. And from what little I've seen of Emmy's channel, like even when she was, I saw some of her videos off and on. I was never a regular watcher of her channel, and nothing against her. It just wasn't. I mean, I used to watch Chrome's every video, and now hardly ever do. Nothing against either of them. It's just like at some point, to number one, have time for your own videos, and number two, work a job. Like you're getting a lot of hours consumed, just by those things. And so I selectively watch Chrome's videos now, probably more than I used to when he first started. I don't really have an opinion on them together. They seem great. They seem happy. My opinion on them together is irrelevant, basically. I mean, that would be my opinion. Like, as long as they're happy with each other, it's kind of irrelevant. I do like how Chrome has sort of built up this van life community in his area, and that other channels, be that Emmy or what's the guy who lives out the minivan, the guy who sews and also is really good. Like the fact that he's been able, and even everything he did with Jeffy Bear and getting him that support, especially through like Jeffy ended up in the hospital, like all those people, and how like this community is grown up around Chrome, and that it's not just about him. I think that's really really cool. on the whole. As far as like Chrome and Emmy being together, not my business. As long as they're happy with each other, that's cool. um, Gina G says, I think your videos have been good. I think you are too hard on yourself. Thank you. And that's absolutely true. I'm way too hard on myself. Patricia Jones says, when are you going to cook something? We would love to see you cook. So I did that one video where I prepared food. I'm sure I've did some other ones in the past that were more on the cuff. And even the response to that video, first of all, that was supposed to be a simple video, and even that one turned into kind of a pain because there were times where I wanted to, like, this is just an empty phone case, but I'm like positioning the phone over my hands so you can see my hands doing it, and of course things fall, so you don't always get this. But like I had it on a stand. Before you say go get a mini tripod, I have 2 mini tripods and another little setup I can use, and that still turned into. It probably took 2 extra hours because I was filming. Because I can't not think about getting all the angles. I'm like, well, if I'm going to do this, I also want this close-up angle. And I also want this angle where my hands are just in it, but my face isn't. But I also want to get me talking. And then, like, all those decisions, again, hold on, I have to overthink. I'm not saying I won't make videos. I'm just saying my brain goes through a certain process. As soon as the idea I am filming, it turns on. And it could be I'm filming myself getting out of the truck. How many different decisions do I have to make to accomplish this? And I may be like overemphasizing it, but it is okay. Okay, first I need to get out the truck. I need to set up the tripod. I need to put the phone on the tripod or the camera or whatever. And then like I have to get back in the truck. I also have to make sure I'm framed properly or whatever, at least enough that it looks like you see me getting out the truck. And then I have to get out the truck for real. Walk past the camera so that you get that shot. Then I have to go back for the camera. I have to turn the camera off. If it's going with me to film more, then I have to carry it with me and decide at what points it goes down so I can film it. It's a thing. It turns into a thing. And it's not terrible. When I'm in the mood to do it, it's fun as heck. Forcing myself to do it when I'm just trying to get to work, and it's fun. Glittery Sarah says, I was here before you made it big on YouTube. I don't even consider myself big, but I consider myself medium. Slightly medium warm. Thank you, Sarah. Wanda Rios, I'm kind of new. Do you have a tour of your box truck video? I do not have a tour video. I don't honestly know when I'm going to be able to film it. I could lie. Because my plan was when I painted it, I was going to film it. And at that point, I painted it, but I was still in that sort of transition away from Schoolie Palooza. And in the middle of Schoolie Palooza, there was too much going on. And then, like, there was just a lot going on up until the point I landed in Oregon. And I was like, oh, once I'm settled in Ashland, I'll have time to film the tour. The honest answer is I haven't done it yet. I'm not going to say. Ideally, I would like to do it before this job ends. But I just don't know when the bloody hell I could do it. And it's another one of those things where I'm like, this thing is going to hang around for a while. I've seen what tour videos do in the past, and I've always said I just don't want to throw it together for the sake of throwing it together. And so that's sort of been the holdup, is that, yeah, that's what it is. The tour doesn't exist, basically. It needs to exist. I wanted it to exist. It is on my list of things I need to do. It has not been done. Oh, Justine says I ain't gonna stop following whatever the content is. Thank you. Divine Rash says, haha, I wish I liked editing like that. I film crochet tutorials, so filming isn't bad for me. The editing is tedious at times. And like, it's everybody's like, everybody has a thing they like more or not. I know a lot of YouTubers, I feel weird using that time, as they get bigger, will hire someone to do their editing. And some people, like, they just hire someone to do their editing because they don't want to do it. They don't mind filming it that they don't want to do the actual editing. I think if I wasn't doing my editing, I almost wouldn't feel doing YouTube is worth it, because that's where the fun part is for me. It's not in the filming. Like, and the thing is, the reason why I focus so much on getting the shots for the edit is because that is the fun part for me. So if I don't have the shots, or I'm like, oh, I wish I had gotten this at a different angle, or I wish I also had sort of this shot to go with this. Like, that's why I'm thinking probably a lot more than I need to before I get into the edit, which adds to the intimidation of creating the content in the first place. But like once I'm in the edit, I'm like enjoying it. Like dumb stuff, like I want a close up of this, especially when I'm doing projects on the box truck. It's like if you have a far away shot of the back of my head, that's not going to give you information. But if I can position the camera between my body and my hands so you can see what my hands are doing, that's going to give you the information. Otherwise, you're just looking at my body moving around and not actually seeing what I'm doing, and that won't provide any value, even though it's a project I would do anyway. But then that also leads to, I got my hot water heater working, so yay, I have hot water. It's amazing. But what happened was I used the wrong tubing at first, and that tubing was not for hot water. And so it exploded. It would have been a great video. It was just life happening. It would have been a great video. But I was so caught up in fixing the problem, I literally filmed nothing. I replaced the tubing with like heat-resistant tubing. This would have been great information for people who probably would have made the same dumb mistake I did, but I just went ahead and fixed it because I was working and I was like, what it will take for me to stop and film this would be a distraction right now. And so, like, I got the right tubing. I replaced the tubing, and now hot water runs perfectly. No more exploded tubing. And I also put a cover on my back roof vent because I had one of those for the front roof vent. I have the fancy Max Air one that can open and close without, like, exposing anything. But my back one was just the old style exhaust fan. I'm filming this one right here. And I got up on the roof, and I put a cover on it. And again, really simple video. And I could have, turned that into a video. And now, because it has been raining, it's been great because I can still open that exhaust fan. But, like, it was like, but I need to take a kid. That means I can't just go up there and install it. I have to bring a camera with me. I'm going to need a mini tripod. And it's not necessarily hard. Like, there is a lighter way to do it. But I was so intimidated by the prospect of it. I was like, I'm just going to do this 5-minute job. I'm not going to turn it into an hour to grab a camera for it. And that is me overthinking. I will grant that to myself. That is me overthinking. Things that could have been valuable videos, but just not having the energy for it, especially because I'm working right now. It's just like, this is the thing I need to fix. I want it fixed. Not thinking about, is the camera actually capturing what I'm doing or just filming the bird that's behind me? Which has happened, where I thought I filmed something, and the way the camera or the phone or whatever was positioned, the thing I filmed was not the thing. Which is always fun. Then you just go back like, okay, fine, work around this. It happened with a lot of my build videos, of which I still have like 4 that I need to get out. Because I never did a video about building this back wall in this doorway. And so that's one of my to-do videos to actually finish those. I never did a video about doing any of this. Oh, crap. Sorry, guys. I dropped you. So over here, oh, crap, I left my light on. It's great I'm hooked up to power right now. But, like, over there is my clothing storage, which actually I want to fix. Not great. But over here is my toilet system, which is it's a separating toilet. And I never got to the video about that, which is another thing that's in my to-do pile. And this is my privacy curtain, so that if I don't close the sliding door, I can still kind of have some privacy. And that went through a couple of stages even after I did the build. So those were things that happened. and I need to do videos about that. And I've done like a bunch of little things, but that's just living in the box truck. But I have the footage. I just need to turn them into videos. The footage exists. um, Judith says, "When are you having another meetup?" I've never had a meetup ever. I've been places and been like, I'm here, and like if you show up, I'll be here. So I've actually never ever had like an official like meetup at all. R. Nelson says, hopefully everyone who's asking her to do more vlogging like this video. That's how she can make more money on YouTube and not have to work so hard. Thank you, R. Nelson. Um, Miles Stewart says, you know what? I'd love to see a Mickey Gear video including litter, food, cat box, safe spaces, etc., etc. That's a good video idea. Just like a Mickey centric video about like sort of how the things that's going on with him. That's a good idea. That might have to go on the list. Annie and Spence says, I find it's hard for content ideas when working full time. Not enough time to film, not enough daylight left, trying to figure it all out. Yeah, that can be complicated depending on sort of what sort of videos you do. I will say I have been very impressed with Life with Anthony, which if you're not subscribed to him, you should subscribe. And he just films his daily life, and he has this very casual way of being that I absolutely appreciate. He just films what happens. Sometimes his videos are edited in this very subtle way. It's never really anything. It's not a Chrome video, but he definitely edits his videos. And you can tell which videos, well, if you're paying attention, you can kind of tell which videos are edited and which videos are just him talking to the camera. Because if there's a cut, it's an edit. If there's any moment where there's a cut, if somebody's like sitting somewhere and suddenly they're outside their vehicle and then they're doing something else, if anything about what's in the frame changes, that is an edit. So it required an editor. It required sitting down and putting stuff together. But I will say, because of his style, because of the way he talks to the camera, because of the very casual way he presents his day-to-day life, it never feels different when he does a sit down and talk to the camera video and when he does an edited video, and it doesn't feel different in a good way. And that there is a consistency to the way he presents his content. Rather, it's I'm just going to sit in front of the camera and talk to you, or if he adds a little bit of editing into it. And I really like that about his content. And some people can really pull that off really, really well. And some people, it looks like they're just putting no effort into their videos. So I really appreciate his channel for having sort of this sort of calm day-to-day living sort of essence to it. And I wish I could do that and do it with confidence. And I don't have confidence in that style of delivery, but I really like, that's why I watch almost all of his videos. And I'd really like to see, support his channel growing and him getting more views. So I really like that about his channel, and I feel like I had that at one point, and I feel like I've lost it, and I don't know how to get back comfort with like presenting things in that way. And I think everybody wants to get monetized, but in a way it can be like difficult, because the more you lean on that monetization, the more important it becomes to your daily life. Like, he has a full-time job, so like right now, YouTube is extra gas money. And the more it becomes not your extra thing, but your only thing, the more hit to that becomes difficult to navigate, or taking chances or anything like that. Anthony's channel is called Life with Anthony, Miss GC. It used to be called My Life on Wheels a long time ago, but the current name is Life with Anthony. And you saw somebody mention FOA. That's the thing he calls Friends of Anthony. Yeah, if you're just interested in like day-to-day living and sort of watching somebody sort of work out living in a vehicle, considering future vehicle ideas, or like future in general, and somebody who's like really just trying to use this as a way to like angle van life for financial benefit. Not so much the travel lifestyle thing. It's a really good channel for that. In general. And he's just like this funny, sweet guy. Absolutely a good channel. FDM215 says, the globe is open like a football stadium. Yes, exactly. I could not think of a right. So, yeah, Shakespeare, I was talking about how my show is outside but inside, but yeah, think of it like a stadium. So there's a surrounding wall, there's a stage in the middle. It's not quite as big as a football stadium, but yeah, there's a surrounding wall. You go through the surrounding wall, you get in your seat, and the actual stage itself is exposed to the elements. So when elements do things like snow or rain, it affects things happening on stage, like sets being built, painting happening, and all that. That was a great one. I don't know what Girth God said, but they got a lot of comments deleted. Sharing the Wild. Thank you, Julie. And I was talking about Chrome's little circle of Canadian YouTubers and how much I appreciated how he had brought up so many people. Sharing the Wild. Yeah, Sharing the Wild, Jeffy Bear, all of those people, including his girlfriend, Emmy. I think it's really nice that sort of this community of YouTubers in Canada has been, enhanced by him. So it's great to have personal success, but when you're able to like share that success and spread it on other people, I think that's really, really cool. Farsy Farce, yes, Farsy Farce is great. Earth Wisdom says, will you do a video about your hopes and dreams for your future? Well, right now, my only hope and dream is that I do well in this job, which ends October 15th. I will be at Oregon Shakespeare Festival till October 15th, and that at the end of this, I can get into the union. I don't have any bigger goals beyond that, to be quite honest. I don't really have these big like future projections of things. I would like to get in a place where I'm financially comfortable, and I think like if I can get into the union, it would be a grand help to that if I establish a good relationship with OSF and they bring me back for future seasons. It would be lovely to have a seasonal job that took up a certain amount of months, where I could have a reasonable amount of money and then use that money to do whatever I want. I still want to go to Disney before I die. I don't know if that's a hope or dream, but I've never been to a Disney. I've never been to the one in California. I've never been to the one in Florida, and I am the biggest Disney nerd. Someone insulted Frozen yesterday, and I was heart hurt because Elsa is my queen. But in general, like I don't know that Disney is the greatest corporation overall, but when it comes to like their animation and sort of like that Disneyness, I am one of those people, and I am sad I've never been to a Disney. But I haven't been able to afford it, and Disney is only getting more corporately evil and expensive every day. So it's something I would like to do. I don't have, like, if you're thinking like, oh, I want to buy a house or something, I would like to build out another box truck in a couple of years, and I know what style of box truck I want, but it's not anything where I'm actively making big plans to do that. I never want to own land. I have no interest in owning a house. I would just like to work to a place where I'm financially comfortable, and that's why I'm here at Oregon Shakespeare Festival doing this job until October 15th. So for people who've asked how long I'm going to be here, till October 15th. I think things will be better once the show opens, because at that point you just rinse and repeat. You show up, you do the show, you leave. But right now in rehearsal, it's a very intense place to be in. So yeah. Annie and Spence also says, I like the editing, but actually getting the footage you need is a chore at times. Yeah. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's totally fun, like filming. But when you're not in the mood and you're just doing it so that other people can have something on your channel, then it can feel like a lot of pressure. Because it's not about something you want to do anymore. It's something you're producing so other people will be happy. And it's harder. Like, for some people it's not. For some people it's just money. And they know if I make this video, it will make me money. And that will totally motivate them. I am not I know I have to make money. That can be for me as paralyzing as it is motivating. In fact, sometimes it's more paralyzing because, like, when I wasn't making anything on YouTube, when it was just this thing I was doing, it was very easy to do. It was very easy to do. And I didn't think about it so much. And it gets harder as, like, that starts to change a little bit. It doesn't change the fact that I have fun doing it, or I wouldn't even be live right now. But it can be complicated. I sound like I'm complaining, but it can be complicated, and I've been feeling that pressure of, it's been too long since you put out a video. It's been too long since you put out a video. And I've been wrestling with that just a little bit. I've been wrestling and struggling with it. But anyway, I'm going to move on. Where was I? Sorry, I'm losing the stream. I'm like, people are like, I said that like an hour ago. The Smoke says, original Star Trek or Next Generation, what was your favorite? You're not going to like my answer because neither of those compare to Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek of all the Star Treks. I absolutely love Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Original Star Trek and Next Generation are so different. Like, I know they're in the same universe, but they're so different. Like, I feel like Next Generation takes itself seriously, but also was filmed in a way where it makes you take it a little bit more seriously. Original Star Trek, you kind of got to be in it for the camp. Like, if you didn't grow up with it, and it's like, I grew up with it on TV, but by the time I became a Star Trek fan, a lot about original Star Trek was really dated. So what I really enjoy about the original Star Trek is the camp. I love that it's campy. I love that they dressed up a dog and tried to convince us that it was an alien. I love that there's like a guy in a rubber suit. I love all the ridiculous androids who technically were more advanced than Data, but then when Data shows up, we're supposed to be convinced that Data is like the most advanced thing that's existed since this time. No. I can go down the rabbit hole with Star Trek. But I love the original series, but I love it for a very different reason. When it comes to a show I really like enjoy watching and enjoy the characters and sort of am invested in the storylines, it's Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek. Angela says, Dawn, I'm stuck. I hope to have started my nomadic life in an RV, but the prices are so high. Yes, RV prices skyrocketed during the pandemic. I have to switch to another route. I have no vehicle right now. Any suggestions? My start date is December 27th. All you can do is keep looking. I know, like, in general, prices are really high right now. Does it have to be an RV? Like, is that a make or break for you? I know people who, like, have been searching and then they found something for the right cost in an unexpected place. So all you can really do is look everywhere. I don't know if you're trying to get something new. I don't know if that's a make or break for you. I don't know what your experience with mechanical things are, because when you feel semi-comfortable that you can fix things, buying a used vehicle has a different weight than if you're like, I don't know crap about vehicles. So one, my question is an RV specifically a make or break for you? And two, what are all the options that you're exploring? Are you only going to dealerships? Are you looking for something generally new? Like, do you have somebody you can trust who can look at engines and make sure you're not buying a lemon if you're getting a used vehicle? And those are all the questions you have to ask. One, if you need to go cheaper, you obviously want to look in the used market. And number two, you want to look at every possible option. Like, people have asked me about finding box trucks. They're like, where did you look? I was like, honestly, I was looking everywhere. I looked at them everywhere. I went to U-Haul. I looked at Facebook Marketplace. Craigslist is iffy, but I even looked on there. I looked on eBay. I asked myself if I was okay with looking out of state, and there was a point where I was like, that's not going to make sense. It's going to be too difficult to get it, and the cost to get the vehicle might exceed, but I'll still look. And so I was looking everywhere I could. This belonged to an appliance company that was in California. It was still, I can't remember how far I drove for this thing. It was kind of a pain to get it. And I was in the Berkeley area at the time. And I had to get a friend to drive me out there to look at it. And then that friend, thankfully, thank you, Kiara, also drove me out there to pick it up. Because if I drove myself out there, I would have been one person with two vehicles, and that wouldn't have worked out. So you just have to keep your options open and be willing to look in more than one place. And obviously, if you're not a person with a background mechanically, get a friend, get a brother, get a cousin, or like pay for it before you invest in something that's going to break down on you. Because people will find a cheap van and then they'll bring it home and then it'll break down. I don't know how many of you watch A Bus Life Story, but Isaac and Jaylena recently got a new big bus for their family because Jaylena's pregnant. And so they're going to have little babies soon, and they both have little itty bitty buses. And so Isaac was looking for a big bus, and he found one locally that had the engine he wanted. Now, he's very good with engines, knew exactly what he wanted, and knew exactly what he was looking for. And he was determined to get this bus, even though it seemed like it wasn't the greatest. And he has a whole video on this. And eventually where the bus was still semi-local, and it was the right bus for him, and he bought that bus. And it wasn't the first bus he looked at. And so he was looking out of state, and then he found something affordable and not crazy in state. So sometimes you've got to keep looking, and it can get frustrating, and maybe you'll find something. I can't guarantee anything, but that's my suggestion. Just keep looking until you find the thing. Trek Girl says, "Hi, Trek Girl. What does your shirt say?" My shirt says it's weird being the same age as old people, which some people find amusing and other people are insulted by. I have a t-shirt addiction, by the way. If there's one thing that I buy a lot of is t-shirts. I probably have 3 times more t-shirts than I do pants, which is not good sometimes because I'll run out of pants and I have clean shirts. Pat Rigdon, I think I answered this. How long will my current job last? Until October. Did somebody link Anthony's channel? Because I know a couple people have asked about Anthony's channel, which is Life with Anthony, because I did spend some time talking about him. Julianne, the last thing I want to do when this job ends in October is the beet harvest. David and Carrie are great. I love them. I met them. But the thing I want when this job is over is a break and time to enjoy not working. Because that's sort of my ideal life cycle is like heavy commitment to a chunk of work and then time off to not work, as opposed to working all year or going from one commitment to the next, which is what I've had to do because the commitments are too short term. But because this goes on until October, the goal is to have enough money saved up to not have to work again until next year. Hopefully, the next long-term stage management contract, if things come together the way I did. So like the beet harvest would just be another heavy commitment after I've finished another heavy commitment, I guess. FDM says the first Disney I went to was Tokyo Disney. Nice. Julianne says, did you miss going to Disney with Riley and Bunny, your new buddies? I did miss it because they were going right at the point that I had to leave because it was about to be Bunny's birthday. But, like, I could not stay any longer and make my job. So, unfortunately, yeah, I had to leave them before they went to Disney, which was sad times. I also didn't have the money. Honestly, I got to Ashland with maybe about $5 in my bank account. Like, I was tapped out. And luckily, Oregon Shakespeare Festival has a fund that helps you out until your first paycheck comes, because especially during COVID, there were a lot of people out of work. And so, like, they would get hired for a show, but they wouldn't have any money until that first paycheck, which sometimes doesn't come for 1 to 2 weeks. And so I was broke by the time I got up here, and really hurting until that first paycheck was going to come in. And so luckily they had a fund that helped me out. I've been meaning to do an interview with Alex and Clea about that, and it was rough times. So I wouldn't have been able to afford to go to Disney. So hopefully once I'm done in October, I can go to Disney. I'm making a promise, and I will film all of that. I will film everything about Disney. Truck Girl says, yes, we're going back to Trek. What, you mean the board queen is not your queen? No. But 7 of 9 can be my queen. 7 of 9 and the Doctor were the only good things about Star Trek. That's not true. But Star Trek Voyager, I have such mixed feelings about. Like, they really did take the fangs out of the Borg, but at the same time, they expanded the Borg. But in that expansion, took the fangs out of the Borg. All right, no more Star Trek talk. Because I know some people are like, Star Trek. I need to make Star Trek videos, and then everybody will leave, and I will have no audience. What am I doing? FDM says, Dawn, you're not the only YouTuber who feels that Canadian Steve Wallace, Camping with Steve, missed 1 week and felt the need to explain, apologize. We all do. And I hate to even, because I have this weird relationship with even thinking of myself as a YouTuber, but you see it all the time. You do feel like if you disappear, you need to apologize or explain. And you do feel like you owe it to your audience, because your audience has invested in you. They like watching you. And so you do feel like, I need to at least get on and explain while I've been absent. And so I think that happens a lot. Because suddenly you feel an obligation to people. And that's where it gets really complicated. Mickey's been on camera twice, Roderick, and right now he's running around like an insane person. He'll be back through here in a second, probably. FDM says, I love the old Star Trek and the old Doctor Who. The cheap sets crack me up. Oh my gosh, classic Doctor Who is such amazing camp. I love classic Doctor Who. The Daleks are the best thing ever invented, and like, I love the older stuff with the Daleks. It's so hilarious. The Daleks and the Cybermen, they're so great, especially the older ones where they look like, and then it's funny with the new technology where they try to make them look updated and like, but it's like, these designs are not sophisticated. The Dalek is a rolling trash can with the thing. Daleks are hilarious. Angel H says, Don, I'm okay with starting off in a truck, van, or car used. I just need to go, LOL. If I get an RV, I honestly would want new or not older than 3 years. Had to become a plumber. I mean, like, all you can do is keep looking. I mean, like, I don't know how affordable minivans are anymore. Because the minivan is always a good sort of format to start in. Like, it's really simple. You can pull the seats out really quick. You can throw a bed in there. And, like, there used to be tons of them. But I know recently one of the reasons Bob Wells did the thing where he helps people with their builds instead of building out minivans and giving them away is because the price of minivans even went up. But I still feel like that's a good. The thing about a car is it's really a modified car, like a fully modified car. Once you turn it into a camper, if you ever want to upgrade to something bigger or with more space, is really hard to resell if you've made modifications to it that make it only a camper. Whereas a minivan, if all you've done is taken out the seats and you still would like to sell it one day, there's a ton of value in being able to turn it back into a minivan. Now, I've seen people do full strip downs of minivans and turn them into campers. But even if you do that, I think you're better off doing that with a minivan than you are with a car, because you're going to find more people willing to buy a minivan camper than you are a fully modified car that can't go back. So that's sort of my sort of thing with like cars versus maybe something like a minivan, because it's much easier to resell a minivan that's sort of been permanently camperized or not permanently camperized a minivan than it is other sorts of vehicles where you would have to do much more to like pull out the seats and stuff, because minivans are already made to turn most of their rear into cargo space. So sometimes you can get away with doing little to nothing to get enough space to build a like living space in the back than you can with a regular car. So if you're looking in the world of cars, I would also definitely look at minivans. If you can find an old cargo van, and sometimes keep your eyes open if you're walking past businesses. I've seen so many businesses that have like cargo vans out front where they have for sale signs on them. So sometimes it's just a matter of like keeping your eyes open while you're walking around as well. And sometimes you'll be shocked at what you walk up on. Obviously, always get anything checked out if you're going to get something used. Julian says, that's a promise you will have to keep about recording everything in Disney. I will hold you to it and remind you later. That is my plan. October, because it'll almost be my birthday, because my birthday is October 18th, and this job finishes October 15th. I really want to go to Florida just because I haven't been back to the East Coast. And I think, like, right as when this job ends is, like, the money to, like, cross the country. And that would be really cool. You could hold me to this. That would be really cool because then I could film, like, a travel to the East. So I really would like to go to Florida. And then, depending on funds, by the time I circle back around, you know, then go to the one in California or maybe save it for next year. I don't know. But that would be ideal for me. I also haven't been to Florida. I haven't been through most of the South. And I think it would be cool. The last time I went East Coast, when I went back to Maryland, I went kind of straight through the middle, sort of, because I was just trying to get there, close my storage unit, and come back. So the next time I like go across the country, it'd be nice to like go through. How is the South between October, November, and December? Because it'd be nice to travel a little bit more southern than I went before. I don't know. You guys tell me. Because the job ends in October. I would love to go to Disney or be headed to Disney after this job ends. And even if it happens like a month from the end of the job and a month from my birthday, I'll still consider it a birthday present to myself. I've been on here, wow, man. And I've been so slow scrolling through this thing. All right, people want to see Mickey. This is another appearance of Mickey. There he is. He's right there. Say hi, Mickey. Now you're not even looking. Where are you looking? Mickey. Everybody online and asks about you all the time. He's just sitting there. He's like, are you done talking to your little box yet? I love that cat. Pat Rich Christian says, and when you finish your job in October, will you be traveling another 3 to 4 hours to visit Jaylena, Isaac, and Ember? Yes. I do not want to leave the state without, because the baby will be here by the time I finish my job. And I would love to see the whole family and just generally go up there and check in and everything. That would be super fun and beautiful. I've held off on sending any. I sent like a sticker or something. It was baby on board type sticker or something like that, because I know people are sending them a bunch of stuff. So I want to see what the kid needs. But what Ember needs once Ember's here. But I would love to go up there and see them before I leave. It's just that it'll be heading into winter. But I'm not leaving without visiting Ember and Isaac and Jaylena for sure. That's something that needs to happen. FDM says I'll stay for the Star Trek chat. Yes. Actually, I renamed my other channel on purpose. I tried to do a whole thing where I did my health journey content over there, and it just wasn't working. So I decided to change the name of my other channel for the third time, and I changed it to the Dawn of Nerdlife, because I actually did plan to start talking about Star Trek over there, because I want to talk about Star Trek all the time and Star Wars and anime. I am a geek, guys. I am a total geek. That's also why my shirt says it's weird being the same age as old people, because I could probably sit down with a lot of teenagers who like the same stuff I do and have very long conversations. But also older people with Star Trek. Star Trek's age group is so diverse, and it's so fun when I'm wearing a Star Trek shirt and then another adult. There's a guy in my show who's older than me, and he was so happy to see that I was a Star Trek fan, and we talked about it for an hour. But yeah, the reason why I changed the other name of the channel, because the plan was to make that my geek out channel, but I haven't even had time for that, and I'm just gonna sit in front of the camera and talk about geek comments, and that's low effort videos. It's literally but the energy just hasn't been there for it. And I think I have to admit that I haven't had the mental energy to engage with a camera or even engage with editing, because I am so scared, and maybe because of what happened last time, that I am going to do something, or something is going to happen, and this job won't exist, and I won't be here till October, and I won't get in the union again, and I won't have the possibility of having the future I want. Because when it comes to the future, I would love to seasonally work long contracts like this for half of the year or so. 6 months out of the year, I'm dedicated to a show. 6 months out of the year, I can travel. And that 6 months of the year that I'm working, it's not something I hate or that I'm doing just for the money. It's something I actually love, which is making art, which is creating shows, which is working in theater. That would be the perfect outcome to this. And because I haven't gotten there yet, it's not the end of the season. I'm not, in the union. I haven't been offered a job next season. I am so wired about proving myself. At first I was being really, really quiet, and then the last time I was at rehearsal, something happened and I raised my voice. I was like, hey, everybody, we did, and then I was like, oh my gosh, was that too loud? I didn't say that out loud, but I actually got very intimidated. So every time I start to speak up, on one hand, overthinker, I'm afraid I'm not doing enough to stand out. And on the other hand, when I do assert myself, I didn't question being assertive. And there's no reason, I even apologized to my PSM the other day, and she's like, it was fine. You didn't do anything wrong. It's fine. I was like, oh, okay. Because I was worried I'd sort of overstepped my place. And she's like, no, it's fine. I don't even know what you're talking about. Then I felt stupid. And I think I'm going through a lot of that in my head, which doesn't leave a lot of space for me to feel like I have the energy for other things. So even something as simple as having a geek out channel, but I must start that channel. All you people who hate Star Trek, run away now. There is a new Star Trek show coming May 5th, I think. It's called Strange New Worlds. And Strange New Worlds is going to be something I really, really want to like review on a weekly basis on my other channel. Nobody cares. I'm talking to no one now. They're like, Vanlife, talk about Vanlife. And so that's something I'm excited about doing. And hopefully that'll just spark that creative energy where I feel like I can get to the video about the back wall, where I can get to those videos that I have either some of the content for or all of the content for. And yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling at the end here. uh, I'm going back to the thing. Tom Baker is my doctor, even though I've enjoyed the reboot. FDM, you rock. I love the mix of like, oh darn, geek topics, and people who are like, oh, you like that? I like that too. I like Star Wars. I like Star Trek. I like Doctor Who. I like anime because that's Full Metal Alchemist over there on my cabinet. But I am about to wrap this up. Did you see Mickey run across the cabinet? You mean right there? That's his spot right there. He goes, there's I don't know how many people know, but Mickey has like a whole track up here, so he can go from the bed to that cabinet to that cabinet to that shelf, and then on the other side he has like another track, so he can go across this shelf, that shelf, and there's another shelf over there. So he can actually run across the top of the box truck pretty distinctly. Um, Julie says, go to the one in CA first, then please go to the Florida one. It's way better than the one in CA. You can compare the two. Oh, shoot, I keep hitting stuff. Stop. Julian says, I'm considering binge watching DS9 just for you, Dawn, so I can understand what you were talking about when you talk about Deep Space Nine. How many seasons are there? I believe all of the TNG era shows were 7 seasons. So the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager, I believe, were all 7 seasons. Poor Enterprise was only like 4, I believe. So that's a lot, but also it can be a mixed journey on Deep Space Nine if you've seen no other Star Trek. So it'd be interesting to know how, like, I had seen a lot of Deep Space Nine without watching a lot of the Next Generation, but I will say because I saw the Next Generation, Deep Space Nine's pilot had a lot more meaning for me than it did like years ago when I was just kind of watching Deep Space Nine and I wasn't really that into Star Trek in general. Like I always liked Deep Space Nine. I had a mixed relationship with Star Trek, and now I love all of Star Trek. Like I've rewatched all of it. I've even watched the animated series of the original Star Trek, which is kind of just a continuation of regular Star Trek. And I kind of love all of it now. But as a kid, like the only one I remember what kid, teenager, all that stuff. Only one I remember like watching during its original run is Deep Space Nine. Sunflower X, do you ever feel like one day settling down in one place? No. I personally feel like I'm in an unending tug of war between wanting to travel full time and wanting to do the homesteading tiny house thing. I don't want to own land because it seems like too much of a work. Like for me personally, I've never had a green thumb. I've never been good at growing things. I've always respected people that could. And so the idea of taking care of land is intimidating to me. If I wanted anything in the future, honestly, it would just be a shop where I could like stay there if I wanted to work on projects. It would be great to have the ability to have a mini camper and a box truck camper. And so, like, if I had a mini camper, when I wanted to do short trips where I didn't take everything in the world with me, I could take the mini camper. And if I wanted to go out and settle, so if I had, like, a shop or large garage space that I was renting where I could, like, trade off 2 vehicles, offer space to friends to work on their vehicles. That would be something more that I would want than land or a house or anything like that. So for me personally, like I have no dreams or goals of like settling down in a place or owning land or owning a house or any of that. I unless I become unable to drive, like I go blind, which as bad as my eyesight is, who knows, it may deteriorate to a point where I can't drive. Or my mom also had bad eyes. Like she had to get a doctor's note up until the time she passed away. Like she had to get a doctor's note in order to be able to keep her license. And she didn't drive at night. Um, so the possibility of my eyesight continuing to deteriorate as I get older is possible. Or if I got some injury where like driving wasn't a thing, um, and I couldn't afford a self-driving camper, that would be the only thing that would make me not want to live in like a tiny house on wheels that I could drive away at any point. And maybe that's just because for me personally, probably since my mother passed away, I have not had anything that felt like a secure home. So I don't have an association with an address and a sticks and bricks home being stable. Whereas like as long as I had a vehicle, even before it was a big box truck that I could stand in, I knew I had somewhere I could go at night. And so maybe over time the association with that being a much more secure life for me than having quote unquote a house has just created that in me. I don't know. Or maybe I was just always a nomad at heart. I remember as a kid having dreams of just backpacking across the country. I would not want to do that now because I didn't think about the whole where you go to sleep at night thing. But even as a kid, I remember having those dreams of wanting to travel, and my mom very much not being a traveler, very much being a like I like to be in my hometown, home city type thing. So I don't know. But I would not want to own like land that I had to take care of. But if I had just a shop where I could like park two vehicles and trade them off as needed, or just stay there and live in my vehicle in the shop quietly, because you're never actually allowed to do that. Anybody who's doing that is probably being gray with laws. That would be more my thing than having like, or if somebody had property and I like rented a parking pad a few months out of the year just to slow down, that would be more ideal to me than like owning my own land. I think it's just not something I see. Or having a house. Like I have no goals in that arena to have like a sticks and bricks traditional house. Um, that I was supposed to be wrapping this up, and I just went on another tangent. Jody says 15 years ago there was a series of assertiveness trainings for women, and then we all went in one direction and rubber banded back. um, Ooh, FDM says I recommend Black Nerd Comedy Channel. I actually like him. He is great, and I love how he doesn't take anything too seriously, because there's so many like nerd channels out there. They don't call themselves nerd channels, but I call them that with love, where like everybody takes everything so freaking seriously. Like I finally have seen. People watch out! I've finally seen Star Trek Discovery. I've seen all of it, all 4 seasons. Um, and the first season, I was like, I don't know if I like this. The second season, I was like, okay, this is getting a little better. By the fourth season, I love the show. I think it has some problems, namely not developing the bridge crew at all. But I've kind of fallen in love with Star Trek Discovery. I'm midway through Picard, and I don't like it that much, to be quite honest. As far as the new Paramount show. Oh, there goes my camera. It's going away. I'm so sorry. so yeah. I remember a long time ago from my fellow Trekkies in the chat, I said I hadn't seen Discovery or Picard yet. I've seen half of Picard and all of Discovery at this point. Janice Williams says, after boondocking for a week, I was so happy to see my bathroom. Well, that's the thing. It's your bathroom. So, and it's also your home. And the thing is, like, for me, just to get, I can, like, after boondocking for a week, I can go to a truck stop, I get, like, refreshed, and then I'm fine. I don't feel like I need a house so that I have a bathroom to come back to. because when I come here, I'm home. So I kind of have that feeling. It's like, oh, now I'm home. When I step into this box truck, I am home, and that's sort of the end. It's not a vehicle. It's not an extra thing. It's not even a boondocking tool. It's like I can boondock in it. I can be in the city in it and be very close to resources. Like I can do whatever I want in it. Kim D. Ember is Jaylina's baby. Jaylina of Leave Her Wild and Isaac of A Bus Life Story are expecting a baby who has not been born yet, but she's already been named Ember. Like, who the bloody hell is Ember? Okay. FDM says, yeah, Picard is fine, but it's not a favorite, at least not yet. Yeah, I'm with you. I would say Discovery has, depending on what they do before the show ends, I didn't like the way it started, but by like season 3 and 4, it really felt like its own Star Trek show in its own right. So it might end up ranking really high depending on what they do with it. Right now, Picard, I'm just like, I'm kind of watching this because I'm a completist, but I'm not into it. It's fine. It's a show. I like Discovery a little more. I like Lower Decks a little more. Discovery though. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, guys, because it's been like an hour and a half of me being random as I don't know what. Cause I'll get out. So I'm gonna say goodnight to you guys. Mickey's also ignoring me, so it doesn't really matter. Hey, Mickey, say goodnight to the folks. He's like, no, I don't care. Mickey boy, I know you hear me, cat. Mickey. There we go. Say goodnight. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking around to my channel. Thank you. Just thank you for being here. And I think that's all I have to say. Have a good night. Have a beautiful Easter. Continue to have beautiful lives. And I will see you the next